Well, goodness me, I have finished my Who the Fuck series for now, but I thought it would be quite a good idea to take a look at some of the albums I'm excited to see this year, right? So we've had a big year for music. Last year was huge. There was only one good album that I really liked, and there's a video you can watch about that. But music-wise, there were some fantastic records out last year. Some killer singles and some great EPs. So what I want to do is a video just about some of the bands that I love, that I'm big fans of, that I'm hoping will release new music this year. I've certainly talked about it, whether it happens or not is always a different thing. So without further ado, let's get into my albums of 2019 I'm most excited to see, and hopefully that happens, list. Number 1, The Chemical Brothers. Now, there are a few artists that inspire a whole scene and continue to do so as much as The Chemical Brothers. Some of their music has been my absolute favourites over the years. They've been hugely influential on myself as a producer. Not that that happens so much these days, but I've always looked at them as people that have been incredibly influential. And they're back this year. Well, they released new music in September. A song called Free Yourself came out in September, which I really enjoy. It's just their classic sound that I think is just wonderful. So apparently an album's due out this year. Does that mean that they'll be playing a big slot? You know, that could mean Glastonbury. I could see them headlining Glastonbury. That would be cool. What a party that'd be. I want them on the tent at Reading, but that's I don't think that's going to happen somehow. Their music's been hugely influential, and I've always liked them making albums. Actually, they make great albums, which is very hard in dance music. A lot of electronic producers and DJs make lots of very good singles, but when it comes to building a body of work in an album, they struggle to tell a story, I suppose, because this tends to be lyric free, but I think The Chemical Brothers always do a great job. The second band I'm incredibly excited for, this one I'm so excited for, and it comes out next week, is Lost Under Heaven. Previously known as Le, their debut album, which came out in 2016, was one of my albums of the year. Still absolutely love that album. It is brilliant. They released 3 new songs last year: Breath of the Light, Bunny Blues, and For the Wild. All 3 of those songs are just wonderful. I think they're absolutely brilliant, and they've got a new album coming out next week, so hopefully this one gains a bit more traction as well. I didn't know a lot of people that knew of them, and certainly when I saw them at Reading, there was about 20 people in the whole tent, so hopefully this gains them a bit more traction, and some good success for them would be great. I know they've been selling out London shows, so new album by Lost Under Heaven coming out next week. Look, entitled Love Hates What You Become. I'm sure it's going to be great. Another band that I loved and made it onto my album of the year list in 2016 was Swimmers. They're back with another new album out next week as well, January 15th. It's called Berkeley's on Fire, which is the title track and the first one on the album as well. We heard that a while back, it made it into Music Club, big fan, love it. I think it's going to be great. Hopefully the rest of the album is as good as their previous album. This year at Reading they were phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. They were like first on the Radio 1 stage and they commanded energy. It was brilliant. So hopefully this means that they're back and they'll play a bigger slot there, but also that their album's great. Contenders for album of the year, that's for sure. Another band who released a couple of tracks last year, who haven't released anything in a long time, was Friendly Fires. Now, their album is due when? Still no date confirmed for that album, but hopefully it's out in time for festival season, because I'd love to see them playing some of those big slots. I love those first 2 albums. Both albums were absolutely brilliant. Both Parlour and Friendly Fires, great albums. So, yeah, hopefully that's something new that's coming out. Sooner rather than later is the goal anyway, because that's a big contender for album of the year if so. Someone else who always releases great music is Mark Ronson. His last album came out 2013, 14 or 15, I can't remember. It had Daffodils, it was the one that did Uptown Funk. That album was brilliant. The whole thing was so good from start to finish. So really excited for that project. I absolutely love the record he's done with Miley Cyrus. I think it's brilliant body of work. So hopefully that's something that we can enjoy. Again, no date for that, but hopefully it's sooner rather than later. Another band of mine that have been absolute favourites for years is Foals. Their album Holy Fire made it into as my album of the year for 2013. What Went Down, their last album, which saw them headline Reading, was definitely a huge contender for that as well. Was that 2015? Again, one of those records that I loved every single song. I don't think they have a song that isn't brilliant. I think everything they've ever released is just phenomenal. You know, we're talking 4 years now, that's gonna be. 4 years gap for a Foals record is too much. That's too much for a human being to be able to cope with. They are one of my favourite bands in the entire world, and I can't fault them. Every song they've ever made is just absolutely brilliant. So, new album out on the horizon. Well, they're back in the studio anyway, whether that means it's this year or early next year. Hopefully it's this year. They announced that they were back in the studio in autumn of 2017, so they've been there for a good year, so hopefully that comes out sooner rather than later as well. They're just brilliant. I fucking love Foals. Another artist who never ceases to amaze me is Tame Impala. Kevin Parker obviously worked with Mark Ronson on the song Daffodils. Along with all of his own work, he's featured in Music Club with Theophilus London. He's just a genius of a musician and producer. Recently announced to headline Coachella as well, which is a big flex for him. So really excited for his new album. I'd imagine that will be out in time for Coachella if that's the case. Yeah, no date announced for that yet, but again, I would imagine if it will be out before Coachella. Would be my guess. It might not be, but it would be my guess. Another band that I'm excited for this year is a band called Nudes. No. Look, Nudes released an album this year, dude. Oh, really? Yeah, it was like out in November. Oh. I should probably listen to it. Well, what do you want me to do about it? Yeah. Look at these guys. Okay. Another act that announced that they were back in the studio is Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. Posted a new photo on Instagram today that looks a lot like an album cover. Whether or not that comes true, I don't know. The last two albums by him have been absolutely brilliant. What I really want is some serious success from him. If you ever get the chance to see Frank Carter live, the man is a genius. And I love his music so much. It has so much aggression and so much emotion, but it's brilliant. And he just oozes charisma, which is always great. No release date as of yet, but I'm pretty sure when he did a secret set at Reading this year, he said it was going to be in time for this year's festival. Sorry, when he did the secret set at last year's Reading, he said it was going to be in time for this year's festival, so hopefully that's all good. We shall see, I feel sure. Another band who haven't released any music for a long time, who have said that their new album is done, is Vampire Weekend. When was Vampire Weekend's last album? Vampire Weekend are an incredibly influential indie band. So much inspiration to other acts, that's for sure. Their last album, Modern Vampires in the City, came out in 2013. 6-year gap for an album is a long time. You know, you're not Dr. Dre. So they've announced that their fourth album is done. It's just needing mastered and mixed and all that kind of stuff. And then hopefully that's released this year. I don't know when, but they've said it's done. So hopefully it's really soon. And the last band that I'm excited that I'm hoping release new music, there's certainly a pressure for them to do so. Is Catfish and the Bottlemen. Hint at a big announcement coming next week. Their debut album, The Balcony, was so good, and their follow-up album, The Ride, was also very good. So I'm hoping that Van and the boys are back with new material next week. That'll be really exciting. I think they're a band that are just destined for absolutely huge things. I think they'll end up headlining UK festivals, Glastonbury, Reading. The V isn't a thing anymore, but the Transmit, those kind of big festivals, I think they're absolutely designed. They're a band that are just designed for it since the moment I first heard them. So I'm gagging for new music from them. I'd really love to hear something new. And you know, well, let's hope that next week's announcement's a big thing. What does it say? 8th of January, Catfish and the Bottlemen. That's all it says. What are we on now? 5th? 4th? 4 days. When's that? Monday? Tuesday. And we know it's not going to be like some shitty tour announcement because they've already announced their tour. They're playing Nottingham on the 19th of Feb, then Plymouth, then Wembley Arena. Nice one, boys. It's got to be a new single for that, surely. That's got to be it. Come on. Come on. So there's my list of people I'm excited for this year. I think every single one of those artists I've mentioned are in strong potential to be album of the year. What I would say is that for the last 3 years, for the last while, my albums of the year have been debut artists. Every single one of those people I just mentioned have all had albums before, so it would be really interesting to see who new comes through. You know, in 12 months when we're having our conversation about album of the year, will it be one of those that I just mentioned, or is it going to be someone completely new? That's what I love about following new music. That's what I absolutely love about it. So if you hear anything new and you're excited for something, let me know in the comment section below. Just comment away on my vids and just say, check this band out, because I really love doing that. If you can recommend a song that is worth checking out as well, that always helps. But in the meantime, I hope you had a wonderful new year, and here's to a year of being excited about music. It was lovely speaking to you. I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.